Hello, how are you all? Welcome. Something different this afternoon. Um, some of you may know, not, I'm actually a qualified therapeutic um, therapist. Well, can't use the word therapist because I'm not a therapist. I'm qualified to run therapeutic art workshops. I'm a therapeutic art and life coaching. I've been waiting to get a second camera so I can um, run and show and share and a basic exercise that anyone can do. Very simple, and the idea is to literally warm up your creative side. Also, warm up your creative side by creating a very simple mandala. So simple that you can see here anything round, like here's a cup or a glass. That's the beauty of it all. You don't need specialized equipment, and that's I choose to keep it simple. People who've been to my workshops have wanted more advanced teachings, if you like, but I liken it to martial arts. Any martial art, a kata. You train each technique over and over and over again so it becomes muscle memory. Now, what happens after a while, you obviously you do get better and better at performing that technique. Now, these workshops that I run are not necessarily aimed at artists. They are for anyone. In particular, anyone that's struggling with mental health, anxiety, depression, focus issues, all that sort of stuff. Because by learning this simple creative technique in creating the very simple mandala and then using that mandala to mindlessly, what I call mindlessly dump your frustrations, your thoughts, feelings onto a piece of paper. Yeah, very an easy way, yet sometimes difficult because not everything flows. And as a creative myself, I know that you're not always going to get a flow of creative juices or creative voice. So this is to aid in helping open those creative gateways, but also help with releasing stresses of the day, the week, the month, whatever it may be. And it's a really bizarre way in how it works, but a good way. Now, I'll have a disclaimer. You could say that if you feel you do need more help, definitely speak to a mental health professional, your doctor, your GP is the first port of call if you're concerned how you're coping. And they're usually good to they know the right people in your area, wherever you are in the world. They'll be able to help. So you can literally start, like I said, you can start with a cup, glass, a lid off a any sort of a bottle, compass, protractor. I use this tool, one because it was very inexpensive at the local stationery store, and it's easy for everyone to see what I'm doing in the first instance. Now, I am no graphic artist or no artist per se. My creative streak is in photography and creative thinking in business worlds and stuff like that. So the aim is not for perfectionism. The aim is to allow yourself to let loose. And I'll give a perfect example. The very first therapeutic art workshop I ran in 2019 might have been, and I had a Chinese couple, and the wife could speak some English, the husband very little. It turns out he was a professor at a reputable Chinese university, and his specialty was fine arts. He was a fine arts professor, and he was a grandmaster in calligraphy. Here I am doing my very first therapeutic art workshop. I have this professor, and having done martial arts in the past myself, and know how Asian cultures dedicate to their profession, be it calligraphy. Well, it's a lifelong practice. Anyway, so I started my workshop, and and I said, okay, what we're going to do? First off, we're going to start with one circle in the middle of your page. So we do that. One circle. You don't have to. Again, I use a Sharpie for demonstration purposes, so it's easily seen what I'm doing. You can use a pencil, get your lines in, and then later on you can actually remove those lines to create that perfect image. Again, we don't want perfect, but some people can't help but do perfect. That's just how they are. I can be one of those people at times. So I'm running the class, everyone through the what we need to do. So first off, we have our first circle, then we'll have a second circle. Doesn't really matter technically, it's part way down, part way up, doesn't matter. Mine, sometimes I get really nice ones and they're gorgeous and going, hey, that was pretty good. Obviously wasn't me doing it that day. So everyone was copying. The Chinese couple were, chatting away to themselves. I noticed his English wasn't that good, so I started using more body language as I was walking around the room and talking, and also I'd do my demonstration, get them to do it, then talk a little bit, explaining. I like to add either real life experiences, either of my own or shared experiences from other people that I've spoken to or met, or have heard. Like secondhand true stories about anything that's relevant and in context. So I could see his English wasn't the best, so I just started. I was trying to say, okay, what we're doing here is eventually going to come from within yourself. We all do the same to start with, and it changes once we have this base and very simple mandala done. Again, look out, I've buggered that one up, haven't I? Dashes everywhere. Now, always start like this, always have your 5 circles as a start. So that is our very basic beginning, our true base. Now, what I get everyone to do that's in the workshop is to take a bit of time, some deep breathing. So basically, you want to try and clear your body a little bit. Some people can relax and you know, it's meditative. It's really just trying to clear your mind a little bit. Some people can't do it. I never used to be able to do it. Too much going on in my mind, and I just couldn't do it. So put on your favorite music, whatever that may be. Why? And then this, because this is the part of the process that we try to unload, literally unload. This is where we want to do a mindless dump. This is not about being mindful and all that sort of bullshit. This is about letting go. This is about purging what's annoying us, what's troubling us, what's not troubling us. It doesn't matter. It's about purging and letting go. So I get people to take 5 deep breaths in through the nose, ground your feet. So you're in through the nose. Close your eyes if you want to. You don't have to. In through the nose, deep, deep, deep. Hold it if you. In through the nose. Out the truth. Now, while we're doing this, I want you to think about your struggles, your thoughts, or even if there are no thoughts, whatever's troubling you, whatever's boiling up inside, whether it's anger, whether it's patience, sadness, all that. Now, you open your eyes, and you can use any form of colouring you want. Pencils, crayons, textures, doesn't matter. Whatever you've got at hand. Now the idea is you can create shapes, colours, numbers, letters, words, something that's relevant to you, something that's symbolic to you. And if it's anger, some people just scribble, and because they just cannot focus on, colouring little pieces of they just don't want it because they're too pissed off. They just want to get it out. So they might choose a dark colour or a bright colour. The colours are important. The symbols are important because what it can do over time. Now, if you think about this, you do this every day. Doesn't matter what time, morning, night, doesn't matter. Put a date on it, put a time on it. Then you just do this. And then over time, you're going to have all these different images that you've created when you've been in a different headspace, when you've felt something different, and they're all going to be different. The base is going to be the same. The mandala will always be the same initially. Because what you can do after a while is you can actually change this and elaborate on it. So you could go in with more circles. You could go in with putting lines in. Here's something I prepared for. Literally start dissecting everything, creating more sections. So you're having a brain dump and you are literally releasing whatever it may be. What I also like to do is, if I've got just a single A4 sheet of paper, not in a art journal like this with thicker stuff, is you'll notice on my desk there's a grain. So you can put a sheet of paper down on the grain, you're going to get a embellishment off that grain. So you can do your colouring and all that sort of stuff. And let's see if we get one off this. Tear this out. Because then it can become its own unique part of what you're doing or what you're creating. So the colour, yeah, it's working a little. The papers, I think it's 20. As you can see, I'm not being too deliberate in being perfect. Not about the perfect. There's a little bit of grain there. So what I might do now is go, okay, bit of creativity. I am feeling creative today for some reason. I don't know why. This is the colour that just came into my hand, as it just did. And not about thinking about what you're doing. It is literally letting it happen. Just let it happen. Like I might even just put a number 2 in there. I don't know why. And I don't overthink what I'm doing. That's what it's all about. It's I've had some creative art students in my workshops before, and they found it very refreshing and liberating to let go and not be a artistic perfectionist like they are taught at university or college or and I'm always a big believer on being unique, finding your own style. You know, we are taught to be, you know, either the best or do the best we can. Sometimes just doing is all we need. It's the just doing is sometimes more important than bloody trying to be perfectionist. You know, like it literally is about unloading, and you know, it's not about staying within the lines. Even though I've got OCD and I am a perfectionist, but you wouldn't think so because, yeah, it doesn't always happen. And with certain things, bikes and cars, when I'm working on them, you know, not I have to have it to a certain standard. Wiring, tension, all that. Look, that's, you know, and that's my perfectionism came from doing wedding photography when I was young, back in the day of film, back in the day when it was film and stuff. So I was taught, not only taught, but you couldn't make a mistake because you didn't have a second chance. You had to nail that bloody wedding that you're photographing. First go. There's no taking bloody 10 shots of the one to make sure it's okay. You got to get it within 2 shots. You know, if it's an important shot, you will take a second just to make sure. After a while, you actually learn to notice when someone blinks or not. In large crowds, large group photos, you'll never always get it. There's too many eyes to try and see. So it sort of becomes an instinctual thing. Yeah, it's got a bit of grey. Oh, yeah, you can see it in the blue, the grain from the desk. So you can, you know, not only can you use a desk, but you can get a piece of timber with grain in it, and you could even just you can put grain on each part of your image, and that's just being creative. That's you know, that's playing. And I suppose in a way you could say that's an advanced form of dumping. You know, and what I like about this, right? A lot of people live and suffer. I prefer to use the word. I prefer to use the word with mental health, and they don't tell anyone. Sometimes they don't even know what's going on. I know I sucked it up for a long time, didn't really deal with it. So this can be a really good way of releasing what's going on inside you and keeping it personal. No one knows what that image is to you. Whereas that image can be a total meltdown on page. It could be a perfect image, perfect drawing within the mandala, outside the mandala. It'll be spot on. But someone else may see it and think, wow, that's really cool. But to you, it's got anger, sadness. Numbers might mean something, like it might be a day or a time. It's relevant to you and you alone. And it's a really, really amazing way to literally dump how you feel and how to express yourself. And if you put in a time and a date, and if you're not already seeing a mental health professional, if and when the time comes to see one, you could take your journal along that you've already been doing for however long. You can go through a chronological storyboard of how you're going. You can even look yourself, and then over time, you'll reflect back on it once you come out of an episode or anything like that, or go through your transition, and you'll say, wow, I really remember that I was in a really dark place. And then you'll see how your images have changed over time. Really, really beneficial for hindsight, but you're creating that imagery straight away. And it's a healthy way to allow yourself to unwind and release, which is really nice. Just need to check my messages. But I'm helping a few people, and they're helping me with this current climate. Excuse me for a second. I've just got to get this done. It's really important to sort of keep in touch with people, even though, like, I'm a homebody. I don't go out a lot, mainly because of anxiety and all that. That's one of the reasons I started doing it, for my own well-being. Anyway, back to my original story, because I do digress. Chinese couple started doing the art. The wife's version was, to a husband's standards, very messy, and I could see the two bantering and laughing amongst each other. He was sort of stirring her up, saying how messy hers was, and his was nice and perfect. But by the end of about an hour, the workshops I'd run for about an hour and a half, and an hour in, I had gotten through that. It's not about being perfect. It's not about that perfectionism. But if that's all you can do, doesn't matter. It's all about letting go, releasing, unwinding, all that. By the end of the workshop, he had converted his perfect mandala that he created, and he started scribbling. I mean scribbling. He what he was doing was, so he had the mandala in the middle, and then on the outside he was literally just doing, he was filling in the outside with colour. But it was all thick, it was all dense, it was just all blue on the outside, all the way around. And his niece had come along. Her English was good. And she explained that that was the first time in his life that he'd ever done that. And it was the most amazing experience that he's ever had in art. And I was floored. I was totally floored that he was this Chinese professor of fine arts and a calligraphy grandmaster that had actually experienced the best time of his artistic life, you could say. Look, I dare say as an adult. I would say as an adult. But I'm only going off what she told me, and his body language was reflecting. You know, he was just, yeah. I was humbled. I was very humbled by him experiencing that. To allow to for him to find that and experience it, you know, to me that was just amazing, absolutely amazing. Yeah, wow, so many people are checking in. Excuse me, sorry, got to keep. Got to keep the wheels rolling. Um, so you know, it made me realise that I already knew that therapeutic art, um, art therapy, all forms of artistic pursuits to help um, anxiety, depression worked for me in a clinical situation, and I could no longer do it after clinical situation because the veteran organisation, DVA or VA, would not pay for it. So therefore, I thought, okay, I want to do this myself. How do I do it? So I just went and got qualified, and then just started sharing what I learned with other people. What I learned, but also what I experienced, how it's allowed me to just release. But beyond that, to allow um, to allow expression, but expression in a private way. Like I was saying, you know, you can do all this stuff, and the imagery, the symbols. Rain showing, it is. Um, so it's, you know, it really is an amazing way just to um, got to fix this second camera up so that I got to turn it upside down. It's right way up. So I'm trying to do something from drawing upside down pretty much. Pretty much drawing upside down. Look, I hope everyone out there is doing well, doing okay, doing the best they can in the situation. And so you can my when I try to draw anything that's relevant to realism, it's very very childlike, because I don't have a I don't have a a formal education in art. Well, that's not true. I do. Year 7 and 8, I did art. That's not entirely true. I have done some art, and actually, funny enough, I entered a photographic exhibition years ago. Exhibiting at the same exhibition, because it was open art, so it had a lot of different mediums, artists. It was my old high school art teacher. Remembered me. He actually wanted to have a photo taken with me, so memories living in the past. Good on him. And he's actually an accomplished local artist. Cool. That's my very sad attempt at doing a green grass with some sunrise. And I've seen an amazing interpretation of a landscape, and what they had done, what the artist had done in the rays, were, instead of having rays like just lines, it was done in text. So it had sentences or had quotes that meant something to the artist. Quotes were part of the art. So they would write something and then they might just put between solid lines that of the text in the middle. Sun was in text. The land was in text. It was relevant to the artist. And that's what it's all about. It's not necessarily about colours. It can be text. It can be symbols. There's no restriction whatsoever. Break it up more. Yeah, need a light, don't I? At least. I enjoy watching art streams, and I literally see how good the artists are at creating their their particular artwork, and it just impresses. Like I said, my art form is photography. What's the time? 5:30 my time. I started photography, photographing uh, photographing weddings, sporting teams. Was basically just all about the money back then, and after a while, I started getting more creative. That was, to me, it was no longer about just the money. It was about the what I could do for a client. Well, it was always about that anyway. I wanted the client to have my best work presented and done for them. That was always my main goal. But also unique. I wouldn't like to do the same. Okay, there are some images that are the same because that's just part of the industry. Like, everyone wants a cutting of the cake, the bride and the groom, all that. There's a lot of traditional expected images in a wedding. But yeah, then I just and how I developed what I did. It took me half a day to get those extra personalized images that I could see for the bride and groom, and it was from spending that time with them and getting to understand their personality. So then I could actually create a personalized, relevant to them style image. And it reflected who they were as people, and someone could see that image and say, yep, that's definitely them. That's captured who they are beyond just this forced smile that a wedding photographer's made them do. This is who they are. Sometimes you can catch that essence early. Other times it takes time. And I very much imagine it'd be the same for a portrait artist, someone who paints portraits and draws, and you can draw from the techniques you're taught, but then it's to get it that next level. It's your own creativity and your own contact with that subject that takes it to the next level. I believe. I've basically been, as I've been chatting, I am without thinking, just doing, without thinking, which sometimes makes it a lot easier. Because if I stop here and think about this, I'm lost. I don't know what to do next. I literally do not know what to do next if I stop and think about it. But if I start talking again and not thinking about this, then whatever emotions going through my mind at the time, it may represent itself, may allow me just to dump it. I think that's the importance of dumping, mindless dumps of, like, creative dumps. Creative dumps are the best. Like, some of the best music is written through heartbreak and through love, through tragedy, through when your experiences are at a limit or at a beyond a limit. Interesting, because I look at what I see on the screen versus what I see here, and it actually allows me a perspective. And I used to tell that to workshop participants. I'd say, okay, get your phone. Okay, get your phone. Take a photo of your artwork. Get a photo. Right. That is, I don't know if it'll work side. Oh, no. Doesn't work for you guys, does it? Doing it upside down so that you might. Upside down to me. What I've done, I've used portrait mode on the camera, and I've done an abstract of the image. And by doing that, it allows you to look at things in a different way altogether. Not only that, but I use my phone in portrait mode to photograph many things in life, to give myself a perspective that I don't normally see. Well, no, look, I normally see it because that's how I see things. My photographer mindset will see things in a way, in a very different way. I'll give you an example right now. Camera, portrait mode, hello, camera. Right, wasn't playing the game for a second. This sad looking cacti plant beside my computer here. Times. So I just took this photo with my phone of little cactus plant beside my monitor. Image you see on the screen is a little bit washed out. It's actually a lot greener than what you see. But if I just zoom in even more, look at the detail. So that could be, if I was to crop that image, that would be my image. That's my creative. That's me. That's my creative side. That's how I am as an artist. That's how I work. And you can use this as your outlet. You can use your phone, not just drawing. Drawing allows you to be mindful and mindless at the same time. Photographing inanimate objects, especially up close, using portrait mode on your mobile phone, allows you to be more mindful. It allows you to take a picture of your surroundings and see them in a different way. But When you look at that, you would say, someone would say, oh, wow, where was that taken? Or who took that? And they're not going to know that it was your little plant that looked okay. You could probably do with a bit of water. That sits beside your monitor. They're going to think it's in some exotic location. Just to know. Whereas you can look at that and go, wow, that's actually like a meter away from me. Print that on your printer and wire your artwork. I don't do enough of that myself. Now I'll look at this as we speak. I'll look at that and I go, that is amazing. That's actually really cool. I don't always appreciate my own work, and I think that's an artist thing, a creative thing. And it's important that we do. It's important that we listen to what others say about our, well, we listen to what others say about who we are, the good and the bad, but only if it's from a trusted source. You don't you don't want to listen to the trolls and all that sort of stuff. They're just trolls. So it's listening to people that you do respect, that you either admire in your own way, or because some people tell us the hard truth when we don't want to hear it. And look, even when we hear the truth, we still may not accept what they say. But especially when it comes to when people give you credit, or they give you they say something nice about you, take it on, accept it. Don't not only just yourself. You're an artist. Don't degrade your art. Even though I say that, and as I say it, I think, hang on a minute. You, as an artist, we know, well, we could have done a better job. We always say that. But sometimes what we see and what everyone else sees is so far apart and non-relevant. After a while, I began to learn to accept this from clients. I would do a commission work for a client, and I knew I could have done better. There was something, there was something that I just couldn't get right on the day, the night, and it frustrated me. It could be a technical thing, or it could be anything. And the clients absolutely love what they get. Not only do they love it, but their friends and family love it. So in that instance, that's what matters. Yes, we know within ourselves we could have done a better job had this gone right, or had that gone right, or if this happened or that happened. That's and that's something we always fight with as a creative. And not only just creatives, but just everyday life, I think. So it's accepting what people tell us about ourselves, or tell us about if we've been commissioned or employed to do something, and they love what we create or develop or whatever it may be. If people love what you're putting out, you're right. You're in the right area. Yes, you can always work on, you can always become better or more efficient, but that takes time. Sometimes you jump in the deep end and you learn as you go. But you learn from past experience, you learn from knowledge from others. Yeah, it's interesting, a very interesting thing. So I tend to go off topic a lot, but it's I will, and this is what how my workshops generally do go. That I'll talk about one particular topic, but then someone will ask a question, and that will lead me into generalized context overall. I like context. I like the bigger picture. I sometimes need the bigger picture to understand myself. I'm a literal person. I also do have OCD tendencies and need to know, okay, here's A and here's B, but what's in between? And why? How do we get to B? And why do we do everything in between that particular way? Is a desired outcome easier done by going to C than B? Or is it better off going to minus A, taking one or two steps back and moving forward? They may or may not make sense, but it's, you know, it's taking the path that might be like that. You know, there's A, there's B. That'll be upside down, sorry. A and B, but the way we get there is like that. Instead of being like that. So, and that can, and when you think about in this context of creating art or having a mind dump, mapping out, you know, we think, oh, we're going along in life, we've been really good, then something happened to put a bloody big ass brick wall in our way, and we felt helpless. So we either climbed the wall, which was really, really hard, we dug under the wall, which was really, really hard, or we sat there and waited for the wall to collapse. Sometimes that'll never happen. So we're stagnant, we're stuck. Well, we punched our way through the wall. So, you know, there's, yeah, or someone helped us over the wall. And there's a really good analogy of the wall, but it's a hole. And I think this hole's been, this analogy has been done a few times in a few different ways, I believe. The way I recall it, and it's relevant to me as a veteran, is this young fella just got out of the army. He's always, his whole life he's just been in the army, so that's all he knows. And becomes a civilian, and life's pretty hard. Like, as compared to being in the military, you've got all your medical's taken care of, all your dental's taken care of, everything is pretty much taken care of for you. But when you're a civilian, you've got to do all that yourself. You've got to, there's so much more you need to do. So you're, in a way, you're still an infant in a civilian world. Anyway, little Johnny, let's call him little Johnny. Got out of the army, fell in the hole of life. And he's in this hole that he can't, he's stuck in there, and he's thinking, holy crap, how do I get out of here? And he noticed the water starting to rise, there's water coming into this hole, and he's thinking, hell, I'm stuck, and he starts yelling out, help, 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 I'm stuck in the hole and I can't get out. And, you know, walking along as a GP. GP's walking along and he hears him, he hears this cry for help, and he looks, oh, there's a hole over there, he looks in the hole and there's Johnny, help, help, I can't get out. He says, oh, that's okay, I'm a doctor, I'll help. And he's, you know, he says, what's going on? He says, oh, you know, just got out of the army, fell down this hole, filling up with water, and I can't get out. And the doctor thinks about it for a second. I know what, I'll write you a script, just some medication, you know. There you go, throws it in the hole. If you're still here tomorrow, I'll see what we can do. Take this, and you know, obviously you can't take it, it's in the hole. And he's thinking, what the hell, you know, what's... So the doctor takes off and he's going, help, help, help. Johnny's in the hole still, and the water's starting to come up, you know, up to his knees. And he's, you know, really peeking out. Because the hole's deeper than, you know, he can't climb out, the water's coming up, and he's not a good swimmer because he's in the army. Someone else comes along and he hears him, and it's a psychologist or a psychiatrist. No, a psychologist. Yes, it was a psychologist. And he says, what's going on? He says, oh, I'm stuck in this hole and I can't get out. Good. No, and he says, oh, gee, so tell me, how come you're stuck in this hole? And, I was walking along and just got out of the army and I was looking at all this paperwork to try and figure out what I got to do in Civilian Street, and I fell in. No, that's no good. He said, right, gave him some exercise to do, to think about how to get out and all that sort of stuff, to ground himself and so forth. He said, I'll be back in about a week. He said, if you're still here, we'll talk about it some more. And then the mental health professional walked off and left him to it. He's thinking, what the hell, what's going on? I'm bloody stuck in this hole. The water's rising. I can't get out. I'm helpless. So, help. I can't get out. Help. I need help. And this other chap's walking along and he looks down the hole and he says, Crikey, you're stuck in a hole. And he says, Johnny. He's screaming, I know, I just got out of the army. And this chap just jumps straight in the hole with him. He says, what are you doing now? We're both stuck in this hole. And he says, don't worry, mate. He says, I was in the army. I know I've been where you are. He says, I know how to get out. So I'll help us both get out of here. And that's like that in life a lot. We're it's finding that person that has been there, that understands, that can help, that takes the time. And it could be a friend, it could be a family member. Sometimes it's a total stranger. They're the ones that that actually help us. So and that's a really, really, who's messaging me now? Silly, I know it is. Stupid. Sorry about that. So there is always a way out. It's realizing that and getting the right help to help with that. It's not always we expect it. Not always, and I've found that from experience. It's not always the doctor. Yes, you have to see the doctor. You have to see the mental professional because they're the ones who will help you go in the right direction. But a lot of the times, you'll be the one that actually comes up with the answer yourself. Answers are usually within us, but it's literally unlocking them, unblocking them, and going, right, now I know how to do it. This is how I work. This is how I roll in life, and this is what's going to work for me. So it goes a long way. Goes a long way. It's symbol. Getting a sore throat from talking too much. Not always a big talker. I only have so many words, so much vocabulary in my day sometimes, which is a problem. You know, if I want to stream and then I run out of stuff, you know, run out of vocabulary or I've hit my word limit for the day. I need to recharge my word. Need a top up. Very silly. Norse protection. Rune. And another. Symbolism is used a lot in culture. Any cultures, we all use it realistically. Like, you know, even the mandala is a symbol, isn't it? It's thousands of years old. Thousands of years. So you can see that's literally what I'm creating is a hodgepodge of nothing really. The only thing that's related are the two symbols. Everything else is not related whatsoever. No relativity. 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 I actually wanted to go to a foreign country. I didn't know which one really. Teach English as a second language. Thought it'd be a really cool experience. Only about 10 years ago that I wanted to do it. I might even do it. I don't know what age limit they have on it. Experience new culture. As long as I can still keep my beard. That's the main thing. Beard and my hair. colours. Sometimes less is more. And I've done exercises where I've allowed workshop participants to choose 2 colours only. I'll choose 2 colours, whatever those colours may be, and they'll create a mandala, and then they can only use those 2 colours to create the finished product. And I know how simple my mind works when it comes to that sort of thing. So this is what I would more than likely do. I'd start off with the colouring the border or the outside of a section. Just do a bit more. I'll just go again. More colour. Very simple, very loose. Once I get the basics, then I might just go in and make it stand out more. That camera doesn't really give a good representation of the colours. Need to excuse me, that burns it right out. So it's literally just thinking as I go along. Great. Literally randomly, like when I first started that, it was different to how it looks now. What I had in my mind was very different to that. But as I randomly started colouring all these different shapes and an arrow, I didn't even see the arrow before. It wasn't even there for me. It wasn't until I brought all this together and then I looked at it and going, huh, that's an arrow. But now I'm going to change it up again. Totally mix it up. See, that's all I want to do to it. Less is more. Less is more. If I add too much more to that, it'll disappear into like parts of me want to colour. I colour that and colour that, but no, I need to leave it. And that's by using just 2 colours besides the outline. In this case, you you can get creative. You can do more than just what your two colors can be difficult. Three colors can be more difficult. But these are ways that you can challenge your creativity or thinking, your logic, because logically sometimes things don't work, they don't go together. That's illogical. But you do it and you think, wow, that's pretty cool. Again, it's breaking the rules, if there are any rules. Nah, there are never rules. In creativity, it's my belief rules are meant to be broken. They're there to be broken. And I will always say that, and I will always... Ooh. That. Nope. Keep mind for a few different things to come through. Oh man, I'm gonna need a coffee, I think. I've had people come into my therapeutic workshops. You know what? Amazing, because majority of them are actually artists. They've done uni, they've done Bachelor of Arts. So their artwork, what they do, is amazing, like just mind blowing. But they love the ability to go back to the basics. Well, even simpler than basics, realistically. To be allowed to have creative freedom and be silly with the creativity. Let loose. Don't have restrictions. Don't follow the rules. Don't put yourself in that. I don't know. It's in that. It's like, yeah, just let loose. Just doesn't have to be perfect. And it has helped it's helped me, but it's helped a workshop participant with their OCD. Actually, he wrote me a fantastic feedback. Amazing feedback. Actually, if you follow my Discord, which is under, scroll down channel, you'll see my Discord. On my Discord is a section on therapeutic art, and you'll be able to see her feedback that I created a image of her feedback, so it's on there. as well as images from students, workshop participants, as well as my own. Now, I don't always use created art. I'll also use those mindfulness colouring in books. So the first part I do a therapeutic workshop is the mandala every time, and that can go for an hour, 30 minutes. It depends. It depends where the flow of the workshop and the session's going. I try not to have a set time. I'll let you just go with the flow. But if there's no, because see, I'm an empath, so I get the feel, I get the vibe in the room, and if there's no vibe, then I'll allow people to move on to something else, either one of their own projects they've been working on within the workshop, or a new piece of mindful colouring. So in those books, here with me, I've got something over there. You can see it from here, somewhere. And that allows a break. So this is the dumping, the mind dumping part of the workshop, where we concentrate in part of, hey, this is what's really annoying today, or this is what's going on in my mind or my body, and you just dump it, release it, whatever. That's your baby. That's your journey. That's your personal journey. And like I said before, you date it, even put a time, whether it's AM or PM, whatever. You know what it means. Over time, you may forget what it means, but it'll still have some reminder. I think I've got a couple of books of my past stuff that I've done in the workshop, but also stuff that I've done, I think it's in the book, or maybe not. I have a few. I do a lot of journaling. These are not the journals you're looking for. I have a lot of journals, a lot. And I use A3, A4, and A5 journals. In the workshops, I give everyone an A5 journal. So they'll get an A5 journal. I'll give them that, a Sharpie, pencil, one of these doodads. Not that it can be used on A5, but it can, just a little bit smaller. So I'll give them the tools to allow them to create. Also, 24 pack of colouring in pencils and a pack of crayons. Crayons are great. I'm not prepared for some reason. I don't have my crayons. Where are my crayons? Good thing about an A5 journal, it can go with you anywhere. It's small, if you can put it in a bag, put it in a satchel, whatever. Pencil, you can create anywhere. You can literally sit down anywhere and just start doodling. And to everyone around you, that's all you're doing is doodling. You may be feeling really anxious where you are, and you might be having literally an anxiety attack. You get your pad out. If you're mindful enough to get your pad out and start, you start, even if you're just doing, even if you're scribbling, even if you're just scribbling, it doesn't matter. If you're able to just start doodling, scribbling, there and then, sitting on a bench somewhere, or sitting in a supermarket, at the front of a supermarket on one of their benches. It can be so takes you away and allows you to deal and cope with the situation you're in. Okay, that is my tree. That is my puppy dog. I've just scribbled them. They're not meant to be perfect, but they that's me thinking, holy crap, I'm peeking out. I don't want to be here right now, but I need to, for whatever reason. And I just get my journal out and I just start bang. I'll just start concentrating on what in front of me, not all this noise, all these people. This is all really overwhelming. I'm starting to chest is getting tight. I just want to get out of here. I'll also wear headphones and have my music going well. But this can really help to get through and just be. Just be. That's. Like I've been to a psychologist and they said, "Oh, have you tried the tapping method?" And I go, "No, I don't want to tap. I don't want to tap people on the head, but I don't want to tap my head. Or I don't want to, I don't want to do this sort of shit. It's not me. It's not how I do it." So she tried to give me all these tools that work for some people, and I said, "No." I said, "This is what I do. This is how I work." I said, as a photographer, I see things in abstract. I look at something and I'll see the abstract of everything I see. Everything I look at, I see in abstract. I see a close-up of a keyboard. I see a close-up of a coffee cup. I see a close-up of everything. That's how I see the world. I see the bigger picture, but my photographic creative self says, wow, that would look really cool in an abstract form, as a picture on my phone or the camera, whatever. Now, when I'm getting anxious or really peeking out, I'll start looking at the ground or walls or features, and I'll start looking at the abstract. That is how I deal with my own anxiety and stress when it happens. Now and again, it's just comes up so fast that I'm overwhelmed and it doesn't happen, and that's normal. That unfortunately is part of it. And that's when when it happens that quick, there's nothing you can do about it except literally remove yourself from the situation if you're able to. And knowing that you have tools that can help, that can aid, just in case, makes it easier to go and do things and not worry what if. So it prevents that pre-anxiety. You know, you'll know what I'm talking about. Prevents that, you know, I don't want to go out just in case. What if, you know, those what if scenarios, you know, shit, yeah, I don't know. What if this, what if that? And it's, you know, and it's a true hindrance, a true blockage for us. And it is real. But there's also we can also work around it. Sometimes what we tell ourselves as being the, you know, the real the block is not a block. But some, you know, look, as you know, sometimes you can do it and sometimes you can't, and you just don't know why. So there's no true answer. It's not a, hey, you're happy, you must be okay to go out. Yeah, not really, mate. Yeah, this is just a fleeting thing. Something's made me laugh. Doesn't mean I'm right. Shit, I've been laughing for the whole day. I've been laughing. As soon as I walk out the front door, turn to poo, or anxiety kicks in. So allow me to be happy. Allow yourself to be happy, and don't worry about those people that think we're okay. We know how it works. Sometimes explaining to others can be difficult. Sometimes explaining to others doesn't even work. Don't get it. They see happiness, so it must be right. Oh, you're okay. No, I'm not. Yeah. You all know. You all know. We all know. We bloody know. Yeah, it's. I think it's. Like, I went out. Like, my sister was going to take me shopping today, and I was anxious about it. And I also ran out of medication. I'm thinking, holy crap, urgent. It's getting close. I ended up jumping on my motorbike, going for a ride to the chemist, getting my meds, going to the servo, getting fuel. And the servo had heaps of milk, and the servo had heaps of bread. I was able to get my fuel, my meds, bread and milk. It felt good to ride my bike again. Yes, I was anxious about it all. It even impacted my riding, like just riding like a new rider, riding most of my life. Some have even called me a bloody good rider. No, what was the word? You're one of the smoothest riders I've ever seen. One of my mates' words. There have been plenty of unsmooth times, believe me. And today was one of those, you know. I was leaving my driveway, and for some reason I just turned and found what the heck? I was almost running off the gutter instead of off the driveway proper. And there was no reason for it. I stopped, backed up, and I thought, wow, I just feel like I've got my learner's permit. I'm 16 again, yay. But got out, I did it with anxiety, and I noticed, like, I went to the chemist and there was a big red line and big red cross, and had my toe over the line, and then in my peripheral vision I saw it, and I went, oh, and the chemist, she handed me my meds, you know, arm's length, she's going bang, and just handed them to me. I already prepaid. and got my fuel, all that sort of stuff, and got home. I'm thinking, shit, because I touch my moe and I touch my face a lot, and I thought, hang on a minute, I've just pumped gas or pumped fuel in a bike. Got home, started making myself a coffee. I'm thinking, I better wash my hands, and I don't normally do that. But I thought I better just be safe because I've handled the fuel pump like hundreds of people before me would have done that day. Yeah, so, and I noticed the caution of other people. There were a couple of ladies that were taking a bit of a wide berth. They were having that space, and they totally knew. It totally was. It was bizarre. It was bizarre. Because I'm used to people I know. I'm used to greeting them with a hug. I hug my male friends, my female friends. It's a warm, good, firm hug, male or female. And I even hug my GP. I ask my GP before we start doing anything for me. I ask him how he's going. I said, look, how you going, doc? Good. The family good. Let's check in. And it's just something I've developed with my doctor over the years, and because he'll, and that's they don't do that, and well, we're not going to be able to hug now because it's too risky for him, and more and risky for me. They're the sort of things that those of us who are huggers, believe in a firm handshake and eyeballing someone who's a stranger, the small things we're going to miss while we ride this pandemic out. Like, I think while I'm riding my bike, I'm zooming along, no mask on. I had a bandana on over my nose and mouth under my helmet. I wear a full face helmet. But that's just cotton. That's not going to stop viral. If someone's... here's the situation, right? Someone's in front of me in their car, window open, they sneeze or cough, they could be positive. The viral sprays come out the window, I ride straight into it, bang. That's and that's how it could be. That's how it could happen. Simple as that. I don't have a spleen, so therefore I am actually at risk. Pneumonia, certain types of pneumonia will kill me. So I've got to be careful. That's about it, really. Don't smoke. Barely drink anymore. Can't afford it. So it's the other things I'm starting to find are bizarre, that we can't greet our friends and family. Well, nah. So that's. I went and saw my daughter. She's 16. I went and saw her the other day, and we hugged for probably I don't know how long. Just nice big, I love you hug. And yeah, I'm not going to stop that. We don't live. We live. She lives with her mum. I live on my own, and yeah. Look, obviously, if she was to be positive or I was positive, then yeah, we wouldn't. Well, I wouldn't be seeing it. We'd have to Skype or whatever, or on the phone. But removing people not having that physical contact is going to be difficult for a lot of people. really difficult. Like I I couldn't go on a charity ride early this month because it was the numbers had kicked in, the numbers, of riders or groups, whatever. Yet I have friends who are in outlaw clubs who haven't been able to ride together for a long time legally because it's against the law. More than two of them together is illegal. Called association. And me being associated with having, going to a friend's funeral, I am by law guilty by association of being with certain people. Like that is so silly. That is just, it's draconian rules. Considering there are rules already in place that could police illegal activity to the next level. Anyway, no politics. Yeah, it's it's interesting, very interesting times, to say the least. I think that's why we need to share the love in, as being positive as we can, but being realistic as we can. My go-to at the moment is gaming, online gaming, playing Elder Scrolls Online. My therapy used to always be motorbike riding. Jump on the bike and go for a ride. I'm lucky I live in Tasmania, where the roads are just bloody amazing for riding. Weather's not always the best, but I ride in any weather, so it doesn't bother me. Well, no, it does sometimes. It's annoying. Frozen. Can't hold a coffee cup because you're too frozen. But it feels nice though. Nice hot coffee mug. Feels good. Yeah, it's interesting. Interesting times. Yeah. So I'm gonna pretty much end the stream shortly. I'm gonna put up on my timetable some stage. This was just a test stream to see how the camera worked. Things I can do, like a little bit more preparation, that sort of stuff. I'm pretty much these workshops will be random for now, but more than likely Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'm going to try different times as well. I want because I want people that can be involved. Also, I'll upload this video to YouTube as well, and and because once it starts getting bigger, what I can do is have like a closed live session, and then you'll have the same people come back every time, and what we end up doing is building a really good community that's happy to communicate and talk and share, and that can help others and immensely, and it opens good dialogue. People can ask me questions that I can answer in a general way, but also if I have a more personal answer, I can speak to that person later, individually, later on Discord or whatever. Remember that I actually have a diploma in applied psychology, which doesn't mean I actually am a psychologist. I just have a very good understanding of psychology. I need to, so I can understand myself and my wacky mates. But I primarily did that to understand how I was being treated, because I have military related PTSD, depression, anxiety, service related. So I wanted to understand more about that side of things. And you know what? The funny thing is, probably not funny. A lot of mental health care professionals become professionals because either someone they know or themselves have lived with or been through those same things. They've either have certain mental health conditions, or their parents may have, their partner may have, so family members, so on, kids, and that's why they go into the profession, to actually learn more about it so they can help themselves and others. And I find that to be quite a I don't have any statistics, but speaking to other health, mental health people, and people that I know who are psychologists and stuff like that, they're pretty crazy as well. And I don't mean that in a bad way. Like, I use the term crazy in a very lighthearted and fun meaning, because it's those of us that live with any sort of mental health condition. We're the coolest people. The people who think they are normal, that don't have anything wrong with them, they're the ones who are weird. Like, they are so freaking. They don't get what life is really like, whereas we do. We see the weird shit, and the weird shit can be fun and scary, but fun. I take advantage of it sometimes. Yeah, like, look, I use myself as I take the piss out of myself a lot, and I'll use myself as an example of I don't know, just use myself as an example. So instead of degrading anyone else or anything else, I'll degrade myself, to make it tolerable, but also to allow me to do it, because that way I think I'm not offending other people by attacking myself in certain ways. I probably am, but I think it's a tastier way to do it than me just. I suppose the only other way to do it is become a comedian and do it that way, and then you can get away with it, can't you? Reason? Well, that's, taking the piss out of yourself as a comedian about your own disabilities and your own inadequacies, for instance, and like, yeah, heaps of good stories about that sort of. Might have to do a sit down comedian session, comedic, open mic, but there's no mic here. My name's not Mike. Never has been. Yeah, I've got some good take the piss moments out of my true stories. Thank you very much for hanging around, watching, listening, feeling, viewing, all that cool stuff. Hope you got something from this, my first therapeutic art stream. I normally stream games, but when I'm streaming games, I still banter. I still talk about the same sort of thing, except I'm not, I don't have this camera up. I'll have my game running in the background instead of this cam for you. So you can still check out my impressive beard, my chrome beard. Believe it or not, I actually shaved this and my hair off in 2017, November 2018. charity for oh, was it? Was it Movember? Movember, yeah, 2018. Took it all off. They want me to do it again this like in 2019. I'm going. This is just over 12 months growth. Quite impressive, realistically. And a lot of my mates who I went to school with, my hair's in a ponytail. Like it's yeah. I have a good set of. I have damn fine hair follicles, you could say. You know, whereas a lot of my buddies I went to school with, they're going bald, receding, their hair's falling out. Whereas I don't have that problem, lucky enough. So I embrace it. I embrace it. Okay. Take care. Be well. Draw lots. Yeah, just be kind to yourself, eh? As best you can. It can be difficult sometimes. But yeah, we got to do it, I think. We got to do it. I'm going to go and have a coffee after I jump off. So join me in a coffee. If you want to talk afterwards, jump onto my Discord. I'm not on there at the moment, but just send me an inbox. Join Discord and send me an inbox if you want to chat further. If if you've just got stuff you want to talk about. And I'll yeah, I'm happy to help and discuss when I can, where I can. I won't try to treat you in any way. I'll literally I like to openly discuss from my own experience, but also knowing that we each have answers within ourselves, and it's finding those answers in a healthy way through chatting. I'm very much a active listener. I've trained to become like that. You know, it's I used to be one of those people you get in a circle of people and everyone's chatting away, and you always have those people. Well, most people will be chatting in circles, and they're just waiting to butt in with a way to help your problem. So they listen to answer. They don't listen to listen. It's two different things. Very big different things. I used to be a listen to answer person. Hey, I've got the right answer. Let me talk. Butt in, go. Here's a spot. Yes, listen. This is how you do it, right? Like this. No, that's not how it works. Not how it works at all. Okay. Bye. Be cool. Have fun. Be kind to yourselves. And don't forget, wash your hands. I need to make a note of that myself. But yeah, thanks very much anyway for hanging out, and I'll see you next time. Cheers. Where's the stop recording? Oh, there it is. Stop streaming button is right there. Bye.